Today I want to talk about the Disability Pride flag because July is Disability Pride Month. LGBTQIA+ disabled folks deserve just as much, if not more, visibility, representation, and celebration as the rest of the LGBTQIA+ community gets during Pride Month in June. The Disability Pride flag was a collaborative design by Anne McGill with feedback from within the LGBTQIA+ disabled community. The black field represents rebellion and protest, as well as mourning and rage for those who are victims of ableist violence. One of my favorite parts of this flag are the 5 colors that represent the following: invisible and undiagnosed disabilities, physical disabilities, neurodivergence, psychiatric disabilities, and sensory disabilities. The parallel stripes represent solidarity and all the differences within the LGBTQIA+ disabled community. The diagonal band represents light cutting through the darkness and cutting across barriers that separate disabled folks. Share this video to help spread the word and bring light and celebration to Disability Pride Month.
Damn, you fine as hell. Hey, yo, think I can get you?
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man.
Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking.
This is so sick and fucking twisted! Sick and twisted!
There's one thing you can expect from me, and that's the unexpected. 'Cause I'm an international super spy. Super spy! Everybody told us you're an organ donor. All eyes are on you.
Shit like this brings the movement down. Everyone's a feminist until there is a spider around.
Do you wanna talk about power? Ooh, let me show you power. I eat boys like you for breakfast. One by one hung on my necklace.
Hey, just hard at work on this sextunnel gagu. I think it's kind of our new arch nemesis. It might take a while. What do you think, Morty, a month?
Yeah, me too. Guess I'll just spend another 15 years hyperfixating on something else.
No, I don't want to form a club. That's too much pressure. Look, I'm supposed to take it easy. Just watch the clouds, sit in the grass.
Whoa, easy there. You're out of bed. You're walking. And you have wood arm legs. Crutches. Okay.
I had to leave our stronghold at the breach. Do you have any idea the dangerous forces gathered at our border?
Conversation topics, the arts. Did you see show? Holodeck 30. What is a deficit? Jazz. I like trumpet. Do the do rap.
Hi everyone, it's Mark here, your favorite handy-capable queer of TikTok, here with a little PSA for everyone. When you're out and about in the world and you see someone in a wheelchair, don't approach them and push their chair. That is an extension of our bodies, and no touch. You may mean well, but just because I'm in a chair doesn't mean I need help constantly all the time. Thank you for the thought, but please don't approach me and touch my chair and try to push me. Yeah. So, just a friendly reminder. Thanks again, everyone. Don't touch my wheelchair. I've got it. Thanks again.
Oh my God. I get it. Today's the day. Today's the day. Oh, can't wait. I wonder what all the major brands are saying. I wonder what the celebrities are tweeting. What? Nothing? What's that? Even though disabled people are 20% of the world's population, we're completely overlooked in pop culture and media. That can't be right.
I hate that we never talk about the fact the majority of Pride events are inaccessible to most disabled people.
We need to talk about this. For context, I am mobility and visually impaired and use a guide dog. You can't ask disabled people about their diagnosis or medical history, no matter the context. And yet, that's what happened to me at my first Pride. Now, I will say there was one very nice volunteer who came up and asked me the questions that they're allowed to ask, and then said, if anybody else asks you, just tell them you talked to me. I tried that, but they ignored me and harassed me, asked for my medical information, and one of them even followed me through the check-in, where I didn't have time to pull out my student ID to pay the reduced fee. And despite the fact that they were very, very clear about not liking my guide dog, there was still a small dog who barked, growled, and lunged at my dog. Obviously, the volunteers were uneducated about service animals, and it made it extremely unsafe for me. And all my friends who were with me who have service dogs had the exact same thing happen.
So I want to show y'all this amazing order I got recently. This order was placed by someone who was a winner of one of my giveaways quite some time ago. And they placed this order for their club that they're in at college. And they're going to give them out at an event on the intersectionality of queerness and disability. I really hope they all enjoy them.
Why are they so pressed about you? What you do to them?
Baby.
Do it like it's your birthday.
Yes. Look at me.
How many famous disabled and LGBTQ+ people can you list? Here are some of my faves. Absolute Queen Rosie Jones, who is a comedian and author with cerebral palsy and a wicked sense of humour. British national treasure Stephen Fry, who's done great work talking openly about having bipolar disorder. Model Aaron Rose Phillip, who has appeared on the runway for couture designers like Moschino. Of course, Frida Kahlo, the brilliant artist who had polio and spinal and pelvis damage. Celloman, obviously. Deaf model, painter, sculptor, performer, and intensely interesting human. Lord Byron, yes, the poet. He was born with a deformity of his right foot, which affected him all his life. Actress, model, and incredibly attractive human being, Gillian Mercado, who has muscular dystrophy. Leonardo da Vinci, yeah, I know, painter, scientist, sculptor, and architect, who wrote in mirror writing, had kind of erratic spelling, had a mind unlike any other. Lady Francesca, fabulous drag queen and member of Drag Syndrome, a group of drag queens with Down syndrome.
Things are now queer disability organisations authors that just make sense.
Tell all your friends that I'm crazy and drive you mad, that I'm such a stalker, a watcher, a psychopath, and tell them you hate me and dated me just for laughs. So why do you call me and tell me you want me back?
Oh my god, you gotta be shitting me.
Hi, I'm disabled. Did you mean differently abled? Handy capable. A warrior. Dislabeled. Person of abilities that are less and also not good. Disabled. Hindered. Challenged. Enabled. Special needs. I know, you're a superhero. Just disabled's fine, it's not a dirty word.
I don't have a husband. I have
Obviously, all of that is ridiculous because that sort of stuff doesn't happen. Let me explain to you what it's actually like as a gay teacher in 2023 working in a public high school. Obviously, my high school is Australian, so it's probably a little bit different, but at the same time, it's a pretty universal experience. I grew up going to a Catholic all-girls school, and I was bullied more by the teachers for being gay than I was by any of the students. I got bullied by the students for being annoying and for having undiagnosed autism, but not so much for being gay, which was always very interesting. In my high school, my students don't always know that I'm gay. There's a few of them that do. There have been some quite hilarious ways that I've accidentally come out to my students, and it wasn't intentional, but I do tell them when it's relevant. I teach maths and science, and I primarily teach maths and science. I don't do anything else at the moment. It doesn't come up all that often. Now, I grew up in a Catholic all-girls school, and I got bullied and shamed more by the teachers for being queer than I did by any of the students, which is saying a lot. If I had grown up with queer adult role models, my life would have been drastically different. I didn't have anyone to look up to. I didn't have a safe space. And I had a beautifully supportive family, but before I came out, I didn't know if they were going to be beautifully supportive. I didn't know anything about my friends or my family, the process of coming out, doing any of those things. All I knew was that I was questioning my gender and sexual identity, and I didn't know what to do with that. So I became incredibly depressed and anxious, and everything piled on top of one another until I hit breaking point. I got really lucky when I came out, obviously, because I had the support there and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But as I grew up, I still didn't have any of those role models. Now, working in a high school, when my students tend to find out that I'm queer, they don't immediately freak out. They actually do not care. Some of them have questions and I will answer them, but I also respect that they are young and I don't need to tell them everything. Last year when I was dating someone, it was different because when they'd be like, oh, you're in a relationship, I'd say, yep. They'd say, with who? And I say, oh, like, her name is whatever. I'm not dating anyone at the moment, so it doesn't really come up that often. But when it comes to giving students a safe space, that is what I am for them. Some of my students, particularly because I teach young middle school students, so like aged 12 and up, when they start questioning their gender and sexuality, they don't know who to go to. They don't always want to go to counseling. They don't always want to go to the wellbeing office because they don't know what's safe and what's not. But they know that I'm queer and they will come to me. I don't talk about it with them during lesson time because that is lesson time. But if they want to spend recess or lunch discussing it, I will let them talk to me. I don't give them advice. I don't tell them how to come out. I don't tell them anything like that because I am not a qualified wellbeing professional. I am a maths and science teacher. I can direct them to resources. I can talk to them about how they're feeling. But again, I'm not a qualified counselor or mental health professional, so I'm not going to give them that advice, and I'm not allowed to. My students identify me as a safe space and someone that they can come to out of comfort and out of assistance, but they don't come to me for advice. They will come to me to talk, and I will let them have that space. It gives them somewhere so that they feel like they're not alone. I watch kids hurt themselves and get so depressed and anxious because they do not understand what these questions are and they don't know who to go to. So they come to me and I give them that safe space. Regardless of how homophobic or transphobic you are, why would you rather have dead kids than ones who have one safe person that they can go to? Simple as that. That is what I am for them.
As a queer person who is chronically ill, I've been really struggling with my own identity recently. And I think it's because, I have Crohn's disease, and I think it puts a lot of limitations on my body. Disability is incompatible with gay hookup culture. And, disclosing to somebody why I've got 6 surgical scars is just ableism just runs rampant and it puts a lot of guys off. And so, although my queerness and disability are ultimately linked because they're part of me, my disability feels excluded from queer spaces. With a lot of queer relationships being very transient and kind of intense very quickly, that is what I mean by excluding disability, because that is incompatible with disclosure of disability to people, because that can come off as being trauma dumping and just coming on way too much and oversharing.
3 reasons why I absolutely love being a disabled queer Muslim. First of all, I love the fact that I can give everything to Allah and He truly answers my prayers. Alhamdulillah for every prayer I've made and that's come true, every miracle that's happened in my life. I'm so grateful. Second reason is because my community is so open and honest with each other about experiences that we all have. Even if they're not disabled, they can relate in some way, and I absolutely love that about being a disabled queer Muslim. And the third thing is that I absolutely love the way we carry ourselves. I love seeing Muslims on the street, and I pray that one day I can fully commit to wearing my hijab, because it makes me feel so special.